What's going on, guys? Sir Wayne here, bringing you a video over doctrines. And basically what we're going to go over is each particular axis, Allies, Comintern, or Pan-Asia, each one of these fractions here. And today we're going to go over Comintern in particular. We're going to go over make a video for each one differently. And I'm going to tell you what I think about each one and probably the best build for each one. But anyway, we're going to go over Comintern quantity. So basically, everything in this thing, if it's green, it's good for you. If it's red, it's bad. So they get a production cost minus 15%. So it's 15% cheaper. 25% on upkeep cost. That means, your troops are going to cost less over time to upkeep them, maintenance and such. So in the infantry column, you see that they get a boost in your militia, 50% mountain bonus, 25% urban bonus, and the day of availability is earlier. So, excuse me, you get a day 1 and a day 2. I personally don't like militia. In mountains areas, I can see, but it's very, very situational whether you run into a mountain area or not. Depends on who you pick and where you pick. So very, very situational. I prefer the infantry. It's got a 15% upkeep cost on top of the already 25% that you get for starting. So that's 40%. All right, that's a lot, 40%. So that means 60% of you're only paying 60% of what everybody else pays for upkeeping your infantry, and then 20% on production time. So you're putting them out there a lot faster, and you get a day of availability, 2 of them, day 1 and 2. So I'm not sure exactly what that is. You can let me know what that is in the comments. It says days of availability, -1 and -2. I'm guessing that's for the first infantry level, and then maybe the second. No, it would have to be the second and the third, right? I think so. I don't remember. I think I knew at one point in time. Probably says somewhere in here, but I don't remember anymore. Probably because I don't care. It doesn't really matter to me, honestly. So unless it says negative, I don't really care. So the next up is artillery. We get a minus 10% production cost, minus 20% in production time, and anti-tank is 15% against light tanks or light armor, and then another 15% against heavy armor. So why didn't they just put both instead of having to do that? I don't know. So they get SP anti-air late. It's unfortunate. They do get a medium tank earlier, and then their heavy tank, they get 15% against more damage against heavy tanks, 10% more hit points, which is good. That actually just basically neutralizes it against their doctrine so that they don't get the minus. That's what that means. Day of availability, 2 days early. I guess it's a half a day. I guess that's what that is. Yeah, that's got to be half a day. Yeah. Half a day early. Yeah, day of availability, half a day early, right? That's what I would think. Because that says -2. I don't know. Let me know, guys. Your tank destroyers you get a little bit earlier, but it's a tough call on which one to choose in the build. We'll get that later. Your infantry or your interceptor is going to be day of availability. It's going to be late. That's unfortunate. Your attack bomber is going to be early, though. That's going to be nice. Not sure if I'll run it, but naval bomber is going to be late. My goodness, everything's late in this one. Your cruiser, you get extra 15% hit points and basically the worst ship in the game. Thanks. Yeah, day availability. Days availability for battleship is late too. Man, I'm not liking this doctrine that much. So your secret is rocket artillery. You get that a little bit earlier, but your SP rocket artillery is your golden unit. 15% speed and 10% damage against all, and availability is 2 days early. So definitely something that would be better for you. have that advantage. Let's see here, production cost. You get a minus 10% damage. Is that just cutting it out? Yeah. So you're just basically equal terms for SP artillery against everybody else, but your speed, it'll be faster. But Comintern is all about pumping your troops out. So I actually have a map going, it did. It's gone now, and of course, thanks, Vitro, for killing my stuff. So if you ever want to know how to get in your old games and you don't know how, I guess it's a good time to show you. So you go to archive. This was my Comintern one. And immediately pop up. So you join a new game, just click exit, go to my games, or home, sorry, and then just click the map. Bam. Haha. Sneaking in the back door, right, guys? So my build, what I did was, where is my stuff even at? I know I sent something down here. No, that's not mine. Well, as soon as Wayne finds his stuff. Okay. All right. So I ran heavy, anti-air, anti-tanks, 1 AC, good artillery, and good infantry, as you can see. Like, you can see the build, ran heavy, strong infantry. As far as I could go, I mean, I just couldn't research it in time, honestly. We were just rocking and rolling. Same thing here, artillery, high anti-air. I even got the SP anti-air going. Ran just the heavy tank. I was going to make more, but I think that was going to suffice just running it at level 1. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think that running at level 1 is just fine because you're going to be slow anyway, unless you're comparing it. Like if you're going to throw your heavy tanks in the SP anti or SPR, or like you want your mobilized stack, right? So I'm flipping through here quick. So this would, your SP, anything SP would go into it, like this here. And if you had the money to go into this, you would go this, the SP artillery. But the main route you'd be wanting to go was the SP rocket artillery. And you'd want to pair this with your SP anti-air, and you would want to pair that with your tank destroyer, or not tank destroyer, tank destroyer, or your heavy tank. And you get the advantage of your heavy tank of him being equal damage to all other doctrines, except Axis, of course. Axis is going to be naturally stronger. So I haven't had a lot of experience in this, so I would say that somebody who has played this would have more experience, but this is what I had come up with just by looking at it and strategizing off of it. But what I would say is you would use tank destroyers or heavy tanks. The only reason you would use tank destroyers over heavy tanks is because tank destroyers would be faster than the heavy tanks, and you wouldn't want them slowing you down in your stacks with your SP artillery and or SP rocket artillery and your SP anti-air. At the same time, if you can run the SP artillery, that'd be good too. And I would actually I'd rather run the SP artillery over the SP artillery. I'd rather run the SP artillery over the tank destroyer, and just keep the heavy tank instead. If you're playing a 100 or you're playing a 22, I wouldn't even worry about even researching this. That's why I didn't, or I would have. I would definitely max out your infantry. If you do have mountains, you could also go a more militia route around your area, a little bit more defensive. But other than that, I'm trying to think of what other ways you can play it. You got to think of how you're going to play to its perks versus not. So, like, you want to upgrade your stuff, but what do you want to upgrade and what you don't want to upgrade? I do have interceptors. You are going to run the interceptors because you have to. And then you're going to need something to knock out their airports. I would recommend strategic bombers. Um, Other than that, you can, if you have any other, like, you really don't, it really just depends. Like, if you're around water like this, I wasn't really around a lot of water, but if you're in a 100, if you're around water, you can always do the uh, half naval and run the naval bombers. So what I mean by half naval is you would go subs, and then and you would sub spam essentially. Yeah, sub spam, and you wouldn't make those very high level either. And then you would make good naval bombers, strong naval bombers, good high levels, and then, like I said, on your planes you would go interceptors, and if it's possible to do, um, you would have to do this. You would have to run some form of airport knockout ability, whether it be strategic bombers or would it be your rockets. Let's see here, what else is there? I wouldn't use atomic bombs, by the way. What else is there? No, somewhere. Paratroopers. Okay. So, like, one of those, essentially, you could do tax, especially if you're allies. But man, it's so hard. I'll have to get into that whenever you get the allies, whenever we do the allies doctrine. But uh, I wouldn't recommend it. It fails too many times. I would just use a low end strategic bomber, like level 2 or 3, and then, or you can use paratroopers. Me personally, I just do strategic bombers. I like them better. Granted, I haven't tested out paratroopers, but I've faced them plenty of times to rather do something else. So definitely want to max out your interceptors. If I haven't said that, I think that pretty much covers it. Let's roll around through the stacks again. As you can see, I had interceptors, 5 interceptors, 2 heavy tank destroyers. I had lots building. Had interceptors getting pumped out here, SB anti pumped out there, naval bombers popped out there, so I can deal with the subs there, as well as the units landing in the sea. These guys were landing here, wanting to make my day. Always have certain things in your stacks. Anti-air, some form of anti-air, some form of anti-tank destruction, some form of infantry destruction. And if you can, you would want a view range to be able to see what you're knocking into, what you're going to blast your artillery with, and that's the AC right there. And if you can get something like a tank destroyer, a heavy tank, a medium tank, if your axes, something like that to bulk up your health bar here, as you can see, is 612. You want to bump that up as high as you can. That way, if you are having an artillery fight with somebody, or if somebody hovering over you with planes to wipe your stack out or something like that, you do have the health to take that hit, to take that as a meat shield. Let's see here. See, like I have him, I got 1 in there. Also have the rocket, SP or rocket artillery, and regular rocket artillery, as well as regular artillery, and just only 1 anti-air. But notice I had this stack way further back from the line so that they wouldn't see it and be able to patrol over it. So it was more of like when I invaded, it was more like back here when my other staff was right here, and it was like coming down this way. And when my stuff was way down here, it was just kind of just way past the line and just trying to clean up, essentially. So, and he actually came from Sweden too, so, and you can see what, basically similar things. You don't want to run more than 10 of the same unit. In 100s, be on lookout what day it is. That way you don't run into people with atomic bombers and nuclear bombers. Just be prepared for that when that comes around. A lot of players, a lot of players, I wouldn't say good players. I would say people who just rather like to use them just to have fun or more for the role playing of the game, but it's not for super competitive players to use the atomic bomb or a atomic bomb or any atomic bomb because it's so expensive. If you're going to use it, you would definitely want to use it for allies. But other than that, this is going to do this for this Comintern thing. Let me know if I missed anything out. Comment below what are your guys' builds, but that would be my essential build would just be rolling at it like that. And that was my initial start at playing Comintern. This is my first map playing Comintern that I can remember since they have released the doctrines. So I'm definitely not going to be the very best at it. I'm not going to know all the stuff to do it, the very best, but that's just my take at it from looking at the doctrine, from reading it, strategizing. That's what I come up with, putting out the troops, putting out those infantry units and such, and just making the best. I feel like I've made the best out of what I could make, but I'm sure somebody who's went out there and played them and played them and played them and worked the ins and outs probably has a better idea what they're doing as far as with Comintern than I would. But anyway, thank you guys so much. Please like, comment, and subscribe.